Hello, 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 hello. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. I am Regina Williams, the barefoot violinist. I hope you like my music. I will be having music coming soon. I'm so excited. This is Rethinking Weight, and we are here to help you to release the weights of life. And so I'm excited about today's show. It is our financial peace. This is another part of being healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, because if you are not physically healthy in your business, you're not healthy in your body. And so today we have in the studio Darius Ellis, President of National Sales at Mom and Pop Business Funding, helping businesses to get the funding that they need when they need it the most. Darius, thank you for being with us today. I'm excited that you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Regina. Appreciate it. Yeah, good to be here and looking forward to our session as well.
Yes, so let's just jump right in it. I want you to tell us about yourself and how you came to this great company.
Okay. Yeah, so hello, everybody. So, how did I come about this? In my previous role, I was a district sales manager and I was doing some extensive traveling around the northwestern part of the United States as well as into Canada. And after time, when you're doing a lot of traveling, because I had been traveling in some capacity over the last decade for my positions. And so it just came time where, I'm wanted to be home more with my wife and we're starting a family. And so I found mom and pop and enter that chapter and here we go.
All right, that's awesome. And you share the story behind the company and how it got started.
Yeah. And so the wonderful Brett Martin is the commander in chief at the helm. And the nice thing is, he started this out of a need um, when businesses were out there. It's kind of a transition because he used to own a mortgage company. And so into the space of mom and pop where he saw businesses needing similar type of funding. And so this is the great part is like, oh, well, not only can I make a difference for just homeowners, but now I can make a difference for businesses all throughout the entire United States.
Okay, okay. So that is really exciting to hear about the owner and this company and how he got started. And now tell me this, when a business is looking for funding, especially up to $1 million, what key factors determine whether they're a strong candidate?
Yeah, so there's a few things that really come into play is A, is the business have consistent volume? B, what type of business if or what type of business it is if they don't have the consistent volume because there are special circumstances and I'll give one example like if we have a landscaping company that's up north maybe they're also doing snow removal so they might have the consistency being seasonal where hey they might have a nice spike in the wintertime after several storms or in the springtime when everything is just flourishing so we really just try to take a look at the overall picture of the business, and that's why we have our underwriting team that they calculate numbers of different factors that come into extending businesses a solid offer.
$1 million is quite a lot for someone to really ask for. So,
True.
how small of a business or how large of a business do you have to be to receive this funding?
Great question. Thank you. So we'll actually our funding amounts start at $2,600 all the way up
That's the
to
lowest.
that's the lowest all the
Okay.
way up to $1 million. And what gets them there is there's a few factors, but mainly what it is we will offer up to two times their gross average monthly revenue, and that's what gets them in the door. So you have a business that is looking for somewhere, say they're looking for a quarter of a million on up to a full million. As long as their revenue is strong, consistent, and supports the ask of those higher amounts, then yeah, there's no problem.
So this can be a very large company. There's no size is too big or too small.
No, no, as long as the revenue is
That's
strong. I
awesome.
mean, we did a little over 8 billion in loans over the last few years. So yeah, it's
I'm sorry, how many? How
eight
much?
8 billion in lending over the last few years.
8 billion in lending.
So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
so
That's quite a bit.
that's a nice
Which
that's a nice
rolls me,
number.
it is, which rolls me right into the next question, which is with over 19 years of business, how do you feel contributions, how do you feel contributed most of the company's long-term success? And I believe you just answered that question.
True, and I can expand upon that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's really, if we were back in the old school days, Brett is the ox pulling that wagon because this is his baby, his bread and butter. His passion bleeds into every part of the business, and you can really see that for just the support personnel around him and from the weekly calls and all the love that comes pouring out from everybody around. It's really this is what he built. I mean, this is his baby, and I'm just happy to
Yeah.
be a part of it and just make a contribution to the community as well.
Yeah, 19 years
Yeah,
of complete success,
right.
you know. That's
Yeah,
that's that's pretty good. That as a business owner, that makes me feel very good about wanting to apply for something when my business needs it,
of course.
right? What about for startup businesses? Like, how long would a startup have to be in business to qualify?
Yeah, they would have to be in business for a minimum of 6 months to provide the minimum amount of bank statements that we require in order for underwriting to take a look at them. And at least at this segment, we would love to be part of the angel investors crew, but we're just not at that junction yet. But you never know.
Not,
You
I
never know
like
what
that.
kind of
Not
chapter.
yet.
Yeah,
Not yet. But
yeah,
you know what? I think all companies have to have some kind of qualifications, and most times when you're going after a loan, you know what those requirements are, and most times people shy away from that because they're like, I don't qualify, or they're going to turn me down, or maybe it's my credit, you
yeah.
know?
They literally underwrite themselves out of their own head and their minds, going, "Well, I'm not going to
Self
get it." It's like
sabotage.
self-sabotage, whatever you want to label it. Yeah, it's and the nice thing is a lot of people you just throw your hat in the ring because you really the worst case is they say no. It's like, okay, well, you move on at the end of the day and you go about your business. And it
Right, right.
really kind of rolls into even your next question that we were about to talk about was just what are the minimum qualifications.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
um, yeah, but I'll let you speak on that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You started it.
'Cause I'm
See,
sort of
this is
thinking
what
like,
happens when you take my questions.
I took it from you. No.
It's right.
Yeah,
It's right. All right. It's quite all right. Go for
okay.
it.
And so, some of the minimum qualifications is, we'll go down to as low as a 500 credit score. And just kind of with
Episode
Wow.
is
that,
sponsored by To the Rescue Funding in conjunction with Mom and Pop Business Funding. Listen, your business doesn't slow down, and neither should your access to capital. If you've been waiting, hesitating, or told no by the bank, this is your moment. It's Mom and Pop to the rescue. Whether you need $2,600 or $1 million, you can get funded in as little as 1 to 2 days, sometimes the same day. 500 credit score? Bankruptcies? Tax liens? No problem. With just a soft credit pull, you can get started without hurting your score. All it takes is one simple application. And your last 6 months of business bank statements. That's it. Don't let lack of funding hold your business back another day. Visit totherescuefunding.com. That's totherescuefunding.com. Because when opportunity shows up, you need to be ready.
and so, some of the minimum qualifications is, we'll go down to as low as a 500 credit score. And just kind of with that
Wow.
as a caveat is the best analogy that Brett likes to say is, if a business has done a good job at their financial housekeeping, then their offer is going to be a bit better than those that have might had a few challenges or little bumps, a
Mm-hmm.
few bumps in the road. But nonetheless, we're here to help businesses from a wide range in the alternative lending space. So, yeah.
Okay. So what are the common reasons businesses get declined, and how can they improve their overall way of getting improved?
Yeah. And so, some of the best ways is to, as much as we would like to have a crystal ball with our businesses, it's really the consistent cash flow that helps
Mm-hmm.
get most people to the finish line. And so, if you're having, a week, you have, maybe a week of 3,000 here, and then, you have 2 weeks of $200, and maybe another week of 10,000. So these types of spikes are not, they don't really sit well with the underwriting team. So if it's more of a tight grouping, say, you have 1,200 week, maybe 1,900 another week, another 1,500, you kind of see the pattern emerging after several
Mm-hmm.
weeks, and then like, okay, this company has this night tight, yeah, wave, so it's just looks better for them. Yeah.
So I saw this flyer that talked about the 500 FICA, and
hmm
you get approved within 1 to 2 business days, sometimes the same day.
Yeah, yeah. In the best scenarios, when everything is clean, then of
Okay.
course offers can come in rather quickly within just a couple of days, like you had mentioned.
Wow.
Uh, some files are a little more intricate, and so they might take a few more checks and balances, or they might have to go through a couple more layers of the review team to finally get us an answer. So just these variables, as
Okay.
much as we would like to have them, be tight grouping every time, all the time, 1 to 2 days, sometimes these variables just come into play.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then is it a hard pull or soft pull on your credit?
This is absolutely a soft pull.
That's crazy,
Yep.
amazing.
Yes.
Because all other places that you go to receive a loan, it always looks at your personal credit, your business credit,
Correct.
everybody's credit.
Of course. Yeah. I know. Credit of your firstborn, credit of your ancestors. Yeah.
I know, I know, I know, I know. So when a person applies, they really just need their application, which is a basic application, 1 page, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, and then 6 consecutive months of bank statements, business bank statements, not
Business
just
bank
your
statements.
personal, not your
Yes. Thank you.
personal. We don't want your
Not your,
personal.
no first.
Your your business bank statements without missing a month in between. So fully consecutive,
Correct.
right?
And thank you for saying that, because there
Mm-hmm.
have been times where people think, oh, these are my, cherry picking months. And nope, sorry, you can't do that. And
Okay.
there are special circumstances. So like I
Mm-hmm.
had mentioned, like if you have a seasonal business,
Mm-hmm.
then underwriting may come back and say, okay, well, we see that you're a seasonal type business, then we may ask for specific said months during your, peak season. So
Okay.
just so people are aware that it's not just like a zero sum, but you let them do the determining and just be straight and narrow on the offering initially. So yeah.
Okay. So let me make sure I have all this because this sounds really, 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 really good. You
Thank
can
you.
have as low as 500 FICA.
Right.
You is a soft pull for your credit. It's a
Correct.
1 page application, which is pretty simple, correct?
It is. Yeah.
It's pretty simple. 6 months of consecutive bank statements,
Right.
right? Current. Make sure that
Correct.
they're current.
Business.
If
Yes.
you yes, business, yes. And if you have been turned down from a bank, it's okay.
Yeah. Bank turndowns are okay.
Okay.
Even people
Bankruptcies, if you
bankruptcies
have
are okay
bankruptcy.
as long as they
Okay.
have. There's a specific time period in which underwriting will let you know if they come up with something. But yeah, that's not uncommon for
Okay.
people to have had those in the past, and even including tax liens, as long as they're
Tax
within
liens.
a
Okay.
within a payment plan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's like, and then as a business owner, I'm just jumping for joy.
Right.
And then I believe I read somewhere that if you wanted to use the money for anything, you could still use it for whatever you wanted to use it for. It's just coming through your business.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
don't have to, there's no guidelines that you have to use it strictly for your business, right?
No restrictions. I mean, it's you're responsible for your funding. So if you want to
Yeah.
go do what you
So if
need
you
to
want to
do
pay
with
off
your
your
bills,
car, if you want to pay off credit cards, if you want to pay off other loans, you can just do all that. Oh, well,
okay.
speaking of that, let me ask you one other question. What
Good.
is the interest rate?
Ah, the magic question, as we all would love to know.
Dum, dum, dum,
Dun dun
dum,
dun. Wait
dun,
for
dun,
it.
dun.
So what we do is it's called a factor rate. So what a factor rate is it's basically a fixed cost of money. And a lot of people like to look at that as APR, but that's not the case. So we'll just take, for
Okay,
example, if we had like a 1.3 factor rates, which would mean
yeah,
that they would owe 30,000 based on their 100,000 borrowed. A lot of people would look at that as, oh my gosh, that's 30%. It's like, well, no, let's kind of rewind that a bit because if you had a 3-year term on that, you know, that would be a lot less than even that. So just, and you also get, there's no prepayment penalty. So your cost of your money becomes cheaper if you pay it off sooner. And that's the
wow.
nice thing about it. And that's why we call it a factor rate instead of APR like most people come in and look at it and they're like, well, what's your interest rate? And it's like, well, let's explain how that works. And also, we want to let underwriting determine that because a lot of the times we'll
Okay,
get people excited about said rates and they're thinking, oh, well, I should be getting this because I have this. I have, I have an 800 credit score. I have this. I have that. And then it's just, we'll just let underwriting do the underwriting. No less than you'd want a plumber working on your teeth. So,
oh,
yeah.
ew.
I know,
Don't
bad
want that.
analogy.
Don't. That visualization just. Oh my gosh. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Oh gosh. So, when I really heard about this company and I was looking at over everything because I have so many people that have been asking, when are you going to do a financial piece? When are you going to do something about, finances or, about businesses because, they want to find out more about having a healthy business, right?
Right.
And I started looking at so many different companies. When I came across this one, it was like my head just turned to the side. I'm like, I know I'm not looking at this correctly. Let me get my eyes, let me clean my eyes. Let me find out. I'm sure I'm not reading this correctly, but I'm so excited that this to hear 8 billion.
Right.
You have processed over 8 billion. What, it's not called loans. What do you call them?
Advances. Yeah. I mean, some
Advances.
states, like
Okay.
legally in California, they're called loans, but yeah, it's fine. Just
Okay. Okay.
splitting hairs. But yeah,
Okay. Got you. And what would be the difference between the two?
that's just their legal terminology on what you have
That's
to
their
call
legal
things.
terminology. Okay.
So yeah.
But to have loaned out over $8 billion to businesses
Right.
over 19 years shows the success of the company and that this is rooted and grounded.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not going anywhere, you know.
Nope.
And I'm so excited about that. I hope that I hope that people really hear this, that this can really help their businesses go to a completely new level.
Right.
That, yeah, yeah. Is there anything else about the company that you'd like to share?
Well, let's see. I mean, we could go on for days, but it's just I'm grateful overall just to kind of close out that thought. And Brett is solid. I get to speak to him frequently. I have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different collaborative projects going on, so I just
Yeah.
gratitude is the word that comes to mind when I'm thinking of
Oh,
where I'm at. So yeah.
I appreciate that. So now, the ultimate final question would be typically, how do people come to this great company? The website is to therescuefunding.com. That's to therescuefunding.com, right?
All right.
And so we're excited about this company, about what it's doing, and anything final you want to share?
Yeah, we just gotta go back over the basic qualifications.
Yeah.
We go down as low as 500 for a FICO score, and bank turn down's okay, tax lien's okay, prior bankruptcy's okay, and just a whole different aspect of categories where most of the time people are turned away by other lenders. And so we at least try to help the business grow in that space of alternative lending and help them get to the next chapter in business.
Awesome, awesome. Darius, I thank you so much for coming. I so appreciate you being here in the studio with us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you so much for coming. This has been so exciting. I'm so glad you stopped in today. Rethinking Weight is here to help you to find your way, to find your life, to find a way to release the weight, whatever that weight may be, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, it doesn't make a difference. We're here to help you. We're building this community with you in mind. And see you in our next episode. We have a lot in store for you. I'm so excited. Thank you for being with us. Bye-bye for now.